What is up, everyone? We have a full house tonight. It's been a few weeks since we saw you last, but we are back with another episode of the Fantasy Alpha radio show slash podcast. It's good to see JB, Alex, Jack all together once again. And before we hop into this interesting show we got the Fantasy Awards coming up. I think we want to catch up on, how everyone's season ended in fantasy football real quick. And then, as always, you could also find us, if you can't tune into the full show, on Apple Podcast, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all those good places. If you can join us for the full episode, we have a good show planned ahead. But other than that, Alex, where have you been? I've been missing you. Jack, where have you been?
I've been researching for this show, Dom. Doing work behind the scenes in the shadows.
Yeah, this might be our
This guy's incredible.
one of our best shows yet. But JB, how are you doing?
Yeah, Alex, how the
good,
playoffs
man.
go?
Hey, they went well. Won one game in the playoffs. Upset a team. Was kind of pissed though. The game I didn't win, that upset, I put up like $160. And then the next round I put up 90. And then in my next consolation game I put up $160 again. So that's how my year went.
Not too shabby. Did this season convince you to quit fantasy football altogether, or do you think you'll be back for another round?
Dom, right when that season ends, it's rebuilding time. It's time to get back in the lab, back in the training room, boots on the ground. We're ready for 2024.
That's what we want to hear.
Don't count me out, man.
Jack, I'm sure you're happy he'll be back in your league yet again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just nice to have that guy you know is going to get last, so you don't need to worry about it.
Whoa.
Just
That is usually boss Antonino. I just gave him a chair.
Breaking news, gents. I joined a keeper league this year, and guess who won? Guess who came in first?
No way.
No way.
Swear to God.
Who'd you pay off? A
lot of people.
I see you changed your name, So.
I did. Head coach now. I know what I'm doing now, so I've gained my stripes.
It only took you 10 years.
Yeah. 10 years of, practicing and forgetting to set my lineup every other weekend. So eventually it all works out.
I just want to know why Jack looks like he just got out of bed.
Chris. Because I might have.
You just got out of bed?
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Pretty off the couch. But now
So
I'm back
when you said off air that, and I asked you if you had a job, you said this was your only job. You weren't lying, were you?
No, I wasn't.
No.
I live
That's
and
all you
breathe
do
this
is
show.
fantasy
I live and
football.
breathe it, Chris.
I think
wait for
Jack's
this one.
looking good tonight.
Thank you. I'm repping the
Of course
Steelers.
you do,
as well.
Dom.
It's a good it's a good look for you.
Thank you.
Now, hopping over to JB, I don't know if the viewers could see him right now, but he's looking a little under the weather, kind of like the Hobbit or something. What's going on, JB?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I woke up with something vicious. I've been fighting it all day, and I've been losing. So,
Oh, man.
but I hopped on here.
Is this your Jordan
No.
Flu podcast?
You said what, Jack?
This is his Jordan Flu podcast.
Yeah,
JB's gonna be
that's exactly
spitting
what Dom
knowledge.
said. Mm-hmm.
Now, that's some dedication, JB, starting off 2024 with the COVID 24, but you're still here.
Grinded, man.
Yeah, you're strong, staying strong.
I guess you could
Oh,
say
man, you guys
that.
got some baby pictures of you in the back there.
Oh, that's me when I played some Little League.
Are these all your awards?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil what's coming, but I do have some awards right here to
Oh gosh.
deal with our segments.
This is
Well,
how you start your grinder dates.
Oh my god! Wow. Speaking of Grinder, they are our first sponsor for the podcast. Shout out to Grinder.
shout out to Grinder.
But JB, if I remember correctly, the last time we talked, you were still in the playoffs. I was wondering how everything ended there.
Yeah, I made it to the championship. I probably should have never been in. Got blown out. You know, it happens. Yeah, it happens. But we'll be back next year, better than ever. You know, I'm trying to join as many fantasy leagues as I can next year because I got to win one of them. You know, if I join a bunch, right? So that's the way I think about it. You know, but wasn't too shabby for about my third year doing fantasy. I'm happy with the outcome. I'll take it. You know.
Yeah, that's
So.
not too shabby at all. I mean, that's pretty good. Depending on if we all get re-signed for this next season, you know, we're all in contract negotiations with our producer. You know, we'll see how it goes, but I think we should start a league with all of us in it, so that way we could it'll flow better. You know, the way we talk about things.
I think so as well. That's what you guys want. If you guys want that.
If I get to play Alex
I'll be
every
happy to
4th
beat your
week,
asses. Seriously.
Yeah, Chris, you got to
I
join
will.
in too for next season.
Yeah, this old dog has some. This old cowboy has what did Ben Roethlisberger say? This old cowboy still has something left in him. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure. I think it involved a gun and something else. So yeah, I'll play.
My favorite Ben Roethlisberger quote is Stormy Daniels come up to room 709. If you guys remember that one. You don't remember him? You're kidding, right? You don't know the Ben Roethlisberger Stormy Daniels scandal?
No, but I love that. Please tell me.
I thought it was just
I
Trump.
know about the scandal. Yeah.
Yeah, and Trump was there too, apparently. Who would have thought Ben and Trump would be
Wait,
connected?
what? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
But you know, I don't want to get flagged for rated X content, so I'm just gonna wrap up what happened with my season, and then we'll hop into what everyone's waiting for: the 2023 Fantasy Football Awards. So as you could see, I changed my name from Fantasy Guru to Championship Loser. I unfortunately lost the redraft league with my three-headed dragon. Oh, I almost misspoke there. I don't know. I was just CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and Chris Olave. Chris Olave failed me very badly.
Was Tyreek playing in your championship?
He was, and I still lost. I lost by 10 points. Not a good look. I really thought I was going to win. I still won 100 points $100. So each of my leagues costed $50 to be in, and I made that money back. So really, this season was just a bunch of waste of time. No, I'm just joking. And then my Dynasty League, it ended badly. I lost in the championship, the divisional championship. So I didn't even make the championship. But on to next season, already looking who to trade, things like that. So
Keep your head up, boss.
I know I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Dang, this is just a party full of losers here.
Yeah, no one won the big money this year. It's unfortunate.
Except for me.
Yeah, except
I
for
did
Anthony.
win.
That's true.
That's so annoying that you won.
I know. I only set my lineup twice this year. Let me
That's
tell you, ESPN's got it down to actually Sleeper has it down to a science. Their optimization algorithm, fantastic.
But nothing like our fantasy alpha.
Wait. You're using where the hell are you? There you are.
I'm back.
You're using a computer.
Chris,
to
come on, my
win
degree is computer science, man.
fantasy. Yeah, but that's not playing fantasy football. You
Listen,
gotta pick the line. Do you guys use computers to pick your lineups?
the Oakland Athletics almost won a World Series strictly off of numbers and algorithms.
Yeah, well, almost. Horseshoes and hand grenades. Do you guys use computers, Jack?
I'm a computer science major, and I do not.
There,
I use pen and paper.
Thank you, sick hobbit. Thank
I'm
you.
a pen and paper guy.
You're a pen and paper guy, Jack? Are you? Who's the
Oh
pen
yeah,
and
I watch
paper?
every game, do my own
Okay.
stats.
Shut up. Do you?
He
Do
uses
you- you
ESPN.
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
can't
no.
do that, Chris.
Our guy on the sports porch, Steve, he does that. He's got a whole notebook. You're an engineer? Are you an engineer? Jack?
No, Chris,
His
I'm a full-time
connection's
broadcaster.
slow.
You're a full-time
That was
what?
a
Broadcaster.
Full-time podcaster, he said.
broadcaster.
All right, stop taking advantage of me because I'm senile. All right, I'm just trying to straighten something out here. So nobody here uses computers except Tony, and Tony won. Is
I
that
also
the deal?
I also pick teams by the colors that I like as well.
Okay?
My God.
All right.
Yeah.
Is Jack having has Jack been drinking? Did he drink?
Most like-
Nobody
most
would drink
has he?
before an award show. Nobody would do that, would
No,
they? Yeah. Yep. There you go.
there he is.
Yep. There he is. All right. You guys got to get to the awards, man. People are dying here.
You're telling us, Chris. You're still
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
here.
Chris, if you stop interrupting.
So the much anticipated awards are coming up. Let's see what we have first. What do we got here? Fantasy Player of the Year. Wow, we are starting off very strong. This is probably the most important award of the year. So I think we all chose, what player we wanted for each award. So we could do a little bit of discussion. Alex, bottom feeder, Jones, why don't you start off?
Gentlemen, I'm going with Mr. Christian McCaffrey. Probably no surprise there, but over 1,400 yards rushing, over 500 yards receiving, 67 receptions, and 21 total touchdowns. Broke Jerry Rice's record for a skill position player for single season touchdowns. So kind of hard to go away from him. He was almost a guaranteed probably 18 plus points every week. Kind of ride his coattails that whole time. So I'm going CMC, boys.
Hard to debate that one. JB, what about you?
I was gonna go with CMC. I think we all. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody has Tyreek Hill or something, but I had CMC as well. Alex said the stats; they're not really debatable. In most people's books, he's a fantasy player of the year. So, Jack.
Well, I had Tyreek Hill, JB,
Yeah.
just because I knew Alex would go the mainstream route. And I'm always looking. I don't have any Giants on this list, guys, which I know is surprising.
Oh, wow.
I know I wanted Daniel Jones as my fantasy player of the year, but I knew Chris wouldn't allow it. So Tyreek Hill,
He can
112
still be a
receptions. 112 receptions, 1,717 yards. I know he was trying to get that 2K yards, but I know he missed at least one game, and he had 12 touchdowns this year.
I think one of our viewers agrees with you, Jake Ellis. He gave you the 100%. So
I feel like that was a bit delayed, and he was doing
No,
that
it was
for
definitely for
CMC.
mine.
No chance.
Dom, who you got?
I hate to admit it. I don't like the running back position, but I gotta respect his just complete domination of the position. There wasn't really many other running backs that were that great this year. I'm going to have to give it to CMC. I mean, threat in the run game, threat in the pass game. Definitely revitalized that offense. Smart of him to move to the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan's really using him well in that system. So I'm going to have to give it to CMC, top scorer in fantasy points of the year, in a position that is very lackluster these days. So we got CMC for three of us, and then we got a Tyreek Hill. Not bad, not bad. And I got a little award here for little CMC. Got a little nutcracker that we will be sending him. This is the award, guys.
Wow,
To
you're-
him. Do you like that? You like
Did you
that?
make that?
That's horrible. Dom, are you really going to send CMC a nutcracker?
Of course.
And this was your idea, right?
All mine. I'll take the
Nobody
credit.
else was involved in the
No,
planning
no.
of this at
Why
all.
not?
Okay. Okay, you go right ahead.
Let him be proud of this.
You send that guy a nutcracker.
Also enjoyed in many ways. It's very versatile.
This is a terrible conversation.
All right, next up we got fantasy quarterback of the year. JB, you look very passionate about this one. Why don't you start off with this one?
Yeah, I can start out. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to my boy Jalen Hurts. Okay, because Listen, yeah, wild one. All right.
Wow.
Wild one. But the quarterback position is pretty dead this year, as we know. A bunch of people just getting hurt. If you look at Jalen Hurts' numbers, at the beginning of the year he wasn't doing that good. Obviously, he's had some bad games, like the Giants game. He had 1 point, but most people were sitting that week. Everything was done anyway. But yeah. Jalen Hurts, even when he wasn't doing good, he was still scoring touchdowns and putting up points because of the tush push and him running around. So I think there might have been one game this season where he had under double digits. But most other time he was scoring 20, 22. I think he ended at number 3 overall fantasy quarterback. So I got to give it to Jalen Hurts. It hurt me pretty bad. Getting rid of him and keeping Tua, to be honest with you. So I just got to give it to my dude, Jalen Hurts. Sorry for letting you go off my team. So, yeah, Alex, you're smiling over there. What do you got?
I'm going to go with Mr. Dak Prescott for quarterback here. 3rd in pass yards, number 1 in passing touchdowns. And more importantly, he only had 9 picks all year. So, just that 4-1 TD to interception ratio? Yeah, I did middle school math. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Mr. Dak Prescott. He balled out this year. Usually he's a pretty pedestrian fantasy quarterback, kind of middle of the road. Seems like in the past he was always like a borderline starter, sometimes just your solid backup. But this year he was top 5 in fantasy points for quarterbacks. Mr. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys. Jack.
All right, boys, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to give you the stats, and you see if you can pick who my quarterback was. It's not.
Oh, I like this game.
So he averaged 19.3 fantasy points a game, threw for 4,280 yards, 31 TDs, and he had the number 1 QBR at 72.
Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
All right, boys, that was too easy. But yeah, that's my boy Brock Purdy. I think he is worth his first year as a starter. I think he's definitely worth that QB of the Year award, whatever nutcracker you got there, Tom. I mean, I knew he has a ton of weapons on his team, and I know he was up and down for a little bit. Everybody was down on him, but like he was that mid-tier, wasn't number 1. He was like that mid-tier quarterback that you could find, pick up. Alex, I think you picked him up. Who probably led a couple people to the championship who wasn't drafted. So that's my dude. Dom, who you got?
So to round out, I think we're all going to have different people, which is very interesting. So we're going to have to maybe send out some more awards once we get a bigger budget. But I'm going to go – this might be controversial, but I'm going with Josh Allen. I know he's known for his turnovers, but he led the fantasy season in fantasy points. And the big factor with him is he had like 15 rushing touchdowns. So that is pretty massive for the quarterback position. I know we think of Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray when we think of rushing quarterbacks, but this is, I think, the 3rd or 4th year in a row where Josh Allen is the number 1 QB in fantasy points. So I got to give it to my boy Josh Allen, especially with that win streak coming into the playoffs. They seem to be a valuable contender this offseason.
They got to go up against the Steelers, though.
Without TJ Watt, though, we're like 1-10 without TJ Watt.
Doesn't matter. We got Rudolph now. Whole different team.
Mason.
all that matters.
It's all that matters.
We have the quarterback advantage in every game.
Yeah.
So I don't know, guys. Who do we go with? Should we choose someone? Is it?
Maybe we should ask the producer.
Yeah, producer. You gotta do the tiebreaker. Anthony, no. Someone, Chris.
Oh.
No, one of you.
Who is the fantasy? Hands down, it's Brock Purdy.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh my God!
The first time we've ever agreed on something.
Hands down, Brock Purdy. No doubt in my mind. I said 2 years ago when he came on the scene, or last year, well, almost 2 years ago. My sports cohorts can vouch for this. Right hand. I watched his first start and I texted them because I text idiotic things like this. But I texted them and I said, Brock Purdy's going to be in the Hall of Fame. And of course, I was ridiculed, as I should have been. But I believed it. I believe in it. I still believe in it. He's going to end up in the Hall of Fame. He's the next Tom Brady. Now, I don't think he's going to win 6 Super Bowls. I'm not going that far. But what I'm saying is he's the next guy that was drafted, and he was Mr. Irrelevant, period. You know, he is the next guy. Tom Brady was like 6th round. He wasn't the last guy, but he was, you know, in the forgotten rounds. And he ascended to Tom Brady as Tom Brady dumb, if that's a word. And Brock Purdy will do the same. So there you go. Tony, you want to say anything about that? Or what does your algorithm say, Tony? What does your algorithm say?
Let me check into it right now. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's write a computer program about that.
Yeah, let's go check Sleeper. Let's see.
That is such, you are cheating. You did not win. You cheated.
Okay, Chris, for the record, do you not have someone who manages your fantasy football team?
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, I do. No, I do, but it's a person. It's not AI. It's not a robot from like Will Smith's movie I, Robot, you know. Halt, you are in danger. Do not play CMC this week. No, it's not happening like that.
According to Sleeper, the leaderboard for QBs this year, based on ADP, what stat do you think is a fair stat?
Points per game, average, I guess.
Points per game.
Oh God,
This is like a slow bottle of ketchup.
It says Jalen Hurts.
Oh no!
There you go, baby.
Then Patrick Mahomes, number 2, number 3, Josh Allen. So who said Josh Allen?
Yeah.
JB said Jalen Hurts. Dom said Josh Allen.
Well, Hurts and Allen both had 15 rushing touchdowns. That helps. That helps. I'll give you that. All right, I'm out. You guys.
Peace.
Anthony,
So I think we're gonna have to give this. I think we're gonna have to give this award to Brock Purdy.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
the value of where you would draft him versus what you want to see that, Chris, again?
Yeah. What in the hell is that?
Is it a baseball award?
Is it a baseball trophy?
You still have your Little League baseball trophy.
Chris, you forget
This isn't even mine.
the 5 of us here, minus you, Chris, we grew up in a generation where participation trophies were awarded to us. Remember that?
Yes.
So wait a minute. You're giving away your old participation trophies. All the fucking rumors about you are true. They're true. Craziness. All right. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is getting that.
No, Brock Purdy for the value, right?
Oh, you're okay.
You chose Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Oh, it's going off of me. Choose somebody else. I don't want Brock Purdy thinking I sent him that stupid freaking.
You gotta own it, Chris. Own it.
All right. Next up, we got. I think it's fantasy running back of the year. All right, Jack, start off.
All right, my dude. Alex can get this one probably.
Let's shout out to David.
Yeah, I know who he's choosing.
That's
David. Thank you. These young guys
Thank
are
you,
great.
David.
That's DG. He's DG to us.
Oh, DG.
Yeah, he's our number one sports fan.
Oh
And,
yeah, he was on.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like he's our only fan, but I'll take it.
Our
Thanks,
number
DG.
one fan.
Thanks, DG.
We have an award for you, David, as the number one fan. That's at the end of the show. We'll send you an award too. But Jack, we were starting off with the running back.
Yeah, 237 carries, 1,100 yards, 2 touchdowns, average of 4.7 yards per carry. Not Alex. Who do you guys think?
I don't know. Najee Harris, maybe a Steeler. Who only has 2 touchdowns? I don't know.
This guy also had 4 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, that's not on my stat book. Dom, who do you think?
Wow.
Who does he mention every single podcast? That's not a Giants player.
Man, JB, help me out here.
Big hint. We're playing him this week.
JB's answered
Oh,
every-
yeah.
Oh no!
I went with Mr. James Cook,
Oh, I hate this guy.
who
not you,
was another sneak of a draft pick that I was all about going into the draft, and he panned out. I know he was only like running back maybe 13 or something, but just like Brock Purdy, they were like those guys that help, I'm sure, win leagues. It didn't help win my league, but he was my running back of the year. Alex, go ahead since you knew it already.
Going with I'm taking out CMC from this,
Yeah.
like the obvious. But I'm going with Kyron Williams. Just the fact that he put up over 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns rushing. He had 206 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns receiving, and he did it in 12 games. He was a big spark with the whole debacle of, Cam Akers going down, Darrell Henderson, getting traded and whatnot. So they didn't really have any running backs at the time. And he became kind of the catalyst for them. And really, it's probably one of the big reasons why they had such a surge at the end of the year and getting into the playoffs. So props to Kyron Williams. Big sophomore season for him. JB?
I was just gonna say CMC, but you guys are saying we're taking him out of the pack now. So
Hey, you can still say it.
yeah. I was thinking CMC. Are we not going with the obvious here? I guess not, huh? Probably CMC. Yeah. If not, then probably have to go with don't make fun of me here, but he carried me at the beginning a bit whenever he was doing really good. Jaylen Warren. I don't even know what his stats really are, okay? But at the beginning, like he was carrying me a bit. I'm a Steelers guy. I had him on my team. He was getting the rushing, receiving. I'd even bet on him every week, and he'd be getting his over on the receiving and everything. I mean, like, yeah, I love the guy. But listen, okay, Jack gave his running back of the year award to James Cook. Okay, Alex. All right.
Come on. You gave it to a running back, too.
I did give it to an RB2, but still, okay.
The man doesn't even have 800 yards rushing.
RB was a dual threat. Let's wait till next year. All right, let's wait till next year. But I'm gonna give it to. Actually giving it to CMC. Okay, he's just in the honorable mention for me, Jaylen Warren. Okay, but yeah, we'll give it to CMC. We'll stick with that. Dom, go ahead before I get made fun of anymore.
No, I just wanted to say, JV, I'm shocked that you didn't choose Devin Achachne.
Because he was out most of the year, But he did. Oh my gosh, he was carrying me at one point. I'm not gonna lie. But when Mostert came back, he just fell off the map a little bit. So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that is true. I just remember every week you were talking about Devin Achachne. That's your boy. That's your boy.
That is my boy. I don't know how he slipped my mind. Did he surpass 1,000? Does anybody know? So RB2.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I think those injuries probably didn't help him. But I'm definitely going to break the tiebreaker here. Drum roll. Kyron Williams, it's obvious for me. Went undrafted in some of my leagues. I had him stashed on my bench. People didn't know if Cam Akers was going to be the running back there. They were really running it with multiple running backs very early on. But if you stashed this guy, you have a top 5 running back probably for the foreseeable future. I'm already looking at projections for next season, and he's drafted pretty high in the projections. Over 1,000 yards, bunch of TDs. Seems like a prime player in that offense. That offense is very explosive. I'm very interested to see if they might upset the Lions just because of how good their offense is right now. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Kyron Williams just because his draft value far exceeded this year, and he really popped into that top 5 conversation for running backs. So I think if it's okay with everyone, we might have to give this one to Kyron Williams. Alex, what do you think?
I applaud it. Your decision.
Kyron?
Wow, look at that.
Jeez.
Shout out.
So many sports, Dom. Basketball.
Is that ballet?
It's basketball, man.
It's basketball. Okay. All right.
Those
I'm-
are South Hills basketball trophies. It's a little different than the North Hills, so let's keep that.
I'm
Just
I
saying.
applaud you. I just applaud you. Your ridiculousness.
All right, next up we got fantasy wide receiver of the year. Alex, I think we're starting with you back again. What do you think?
All right, I'm going with the man who had the most receptions in the league this year, Mr. CeeDee Lamb. 135 receptions, 1,748 yards receiving, in 12 tutties.
Alex, I forgot that you've always been a Cowboys fan.
Big,
Ever since Alex was young, he had like always been a Cowboys guy. It's crazy.
such a big Cowboys fan, especially when they're really not whenever they're really bad.
Right.
But so since most of us play in PPR leagues, gonna go with the guy who had the most receptions. Seems pretty common sense, so I'm going with Mr. CeeDee Lamb. How about you, Jack?
Well, common sense for me. Let's see if you guys can get this one. 109 receptions, that was fifth among wide receivers. 1,152 yards, only 4 touchdowns.
Is Dom doing laundry
I don't know what Dom's doing.
or is he making pasta? Can you hear that?
I had to grab a few awards. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, it
I was
actually
running-
sounded it sounded like you may have been putting on hairspray.
I was running out of awards. I had to go grab a few, but all right, Jack.
Everybody
full
gets one
speed,
guess.
easy.
Say that again. 109 receptions. How many yards?
109 receptions, 1,152 yards, 4 touchdowns. I want to say he was wide receiver like 11, which is a big hint.
He's your wide receiver of the year.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going for the top guys, Alex.
What is the point of this?
Because, well, these are the people that win leagues, not the highest drafted people, the people that showed up like all year that were surprising for people.
I'm befuddled right now. I'm
Yeah, I have
flat.
no idea.
Keenan Allen.
He's number 11.
Keenan Allen.
Nope. Michael Pittman Jr.
Whoa.
Wow.
I think he had a
wouldn't-
great year this year. You guys are going to disagree with all my picks then?
There's no way he's number 11.
He went off a few games. I saw.
He went off a bunch of games this year. He's literally number 11. I may have made up what rank he is, but I know he's at least like top 15. So.
Well, I mean, he also, 109 receptions is gonna get you pretty darn close to that.
That's what I'm saying. I find the people that you guys don't see. JB, who you got?
I got somebody who's on my team. I traded for him early in the year, but I sat him a lot more than I definitely should have. But Amon-Ra St. Brown. He averaged, I think, around 15 fantasy points a week this year. He ended with 1,500 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. He was honestly phenomenal, and I think he was kind of slept on. We didn't bring him up that much, but he's definitely got to be my wide receiver of the year if I'm keeping out Tyreek Hill, of course. He's definitely got to be my wide receiver of the year. Towards the end, I started him, and he's who got me to the championship, but he wasn't enough to win it for me. So, Dom?
My heart's kind of torn right now. I'm trying to decide between CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill, and I'm gonna have to go with CeeDee Lamb. Dude was just dominant this year. He really ascended to that top 3 conversation. I know he was kind of hovering around there in previous years.
If Tyreek didn't miss those games, you think you'd still put CeeDee there, though? You know.
Yeah, I think if Tyreek finished out strong, he'd probably be the winner for me, but I'm going to have to give it to CeeDee. I mean, he's Dak Prescott's guy, definitely was the reason they won a lot of real-time games. A lot of reasons I won some of my games this year. especially with those other big name wide receivers out, such as Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase was kind of ass this year. So fittingly, I think I'm going to give it to CeeDee Lamb. I know Tyreek probably doesn't have many years left in the tank that are going to be valuable, but we're going with, I think, Alex, you chose CeeDee Lamb as well.
We're on the same page again.
Even Alex is over here sucking each
Yeah,
other
what is
off,
this?
huh?
This is weird.
CeeDee Lamb, here you go. Very honorable trophy here.
Wow, look at
You're a
that.
cheerleader, Dom.
Is that a cheerleading trophy?
It is.
That's the best one yet.
He's so happy to show
Where are
it.
you getting these from? Did you cheerlead or?
They're part of the fund, man. I had to go
That's
out.
a better question.
He didn't answer.
As soon as I cut out, I was like, wait a minute, there's a bigger question here. So, thank you.
One last take for those people viewing. All right.
Thank you for that.
Next up, this one's my favorite category. Biggest bust of the year. And we are talking about fantasy football. We are not talking about anything else. Biggest fantasy bust of the year.
He rehearsed that. You know, he rehearsed it. He thought about that hours before.
He said that.
Or does it just come naturally?
I thought of that off the top of my head.
Oh, that was terrible, Chris.
Jack, your name's pretty fitting for this one. Why don't you start off?
All right, I'll just give this one. In my opinion, I know it wasn't the biggest bust, but for my team, Stephon Diggs was a big bust this year. He was my number one draft pick. Wasn't taking Cooper Kupp. I was in a keeper league. Was not taking Cooper Kupp. Thought Diggs was going to show out, but only ended up with, and again, I expect more from Stephon Diggs and my first draft pick, which is why he's a bust for me. 107 receptions. That's number 7, 1,183 yards, only 8 touchdowns. And as the number one receiver for the Bills, who won a lot of games, I expected more. So for me, he was my biggest bust this year. JB, who'd you take?
Well, we already talked about him, but to see what he did in 2021 and 2022, Jamar Chase, and to, do what he did this year, extremely disappointing. Obviously, Burrow got hurt. And he loved throwing it to Jamar Chase, but even Jake Browning came in and was getting a lot of passing yards, and we still didn't see Jamar Chase's numbers or anything go as crazy as kind of what I hoped for. So I know a lot of people drafted Jamar Chase early. And unlike JJ, Justin Jefferson, who got injured and stuff, Jamar Chase was still around. And he still just wasn't doing too much. So that's got to be my biggest letdown award. Goes to him. Alex.
This one's personal because I drafted him, and it was dumb of me to draft him. Mr. Cam Akers was projected on ESPN, he was projected as the 9th rated running back coming into the year. NFL.com, he was like 10th. I drafted him, training camp. He was going to be a running back 1. He was doing great, yada, yada, yada. And then regular season came, and he decides between the Rams and the Vikings to run for 167 yards all year with 0 touchdowns. So not exactly a projected top 10 running back for fantasy coming into the year. So he's my bust of the year. He's single-handedly on my own personal shit list. So never falling for that again. Screw you, Cam Akers. Tom?
Saw the list, everyone. I really respect everyone's decisions. Personally, I have this personal vendetta against this guy. Never liked him. I thought he was overrated. I think he had, in my eyes, one really valuable season. I'm going with Austin Eckler. He was drafted all the way, some people drafted him within the top 5. He was definitely going the top 10 this year. And he finished outside of the top 25 running backs. So definitely a big bust for anyone who drafted him this year. I think last year he had like 412 fantasy points, kind of similar to CMC this year. But the Chargers just went downhill from making the playoffs all the way to winning like 5 games. And Yeah, I think he just wasn't doing it. I almost drafted him because I was believing everyone's hype around him. I just didn't trust I don't trust his last name, if I'm gonna be frank. Something about Eckler. Just like
Mm.
maybe that's why. But we're facing a tie break right here, so we're gonna have to have Chris hop in and decide who the biggest bust is.
Who were the busts?
So
I
we
said
got
Chase. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
we got Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, Cam Akers, and Austin Eckler.
Who was the first one again?
Stephon Diggs.
No. It
Jamar
was
Chase.
Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase. He was the biggest bust. Wasn't his fault. He didn't have a quarterback.
Mm.
But that, in my opinion, Jamar Chase. I mean, how often did you? Stephon Diggs. He played well in the beginning of the season, and then he kind of fell off. Last 4 or 5 games. But Jamar Chase, because Burrow went down, he became non-existent, just completely non-existent. So that tells me anyway that Tyreek Hill is a much better receiver than him, because Tyreek Hill can catch the ball from anybody. Chase needs Burrow. Hell, he's the only quarterback he's ever really caught a ball from in the last couple years because of his days back at LSU. Does that help, boys, while we wait for Jack to return from the restroom or whatever he decided to do? It's like we're in a bar hanging out and we're just talking and like people are just randomly leaving. When I text my buddies during the football games and stuff, they live all over the country, and I tell them it's like we're at Kavanaugh's in Philadelphia. Nothing's ever changed. We're just doing it over text messages. So here you go. DG's in the house right now. He says the cheerleader trophy should have gone to the biggest bouncing bust. Thank you, DG.
Oh, I agree.
DG, you can talk like this on their show, but you can't talk like this on our show. I mean, where's the humor? He's so proper on our show. Even when he calls in, he's so proper, but I guess, younger generation. So anyway, here's Jack.
David, I love that take. Unfortunately, Jamar Chase will not be receiving a trophy. He will be receiving an extra large bottle of lotion.
Oh. For the biggest bust. Okay.
Please. Please, would you stop? This is ridiculous. Do you have a therapist?
Please tell me you thought of that one. That one was fake.
That was not staged, man.
Okay. I do have one. I have one question for you. What scent is this lotion?
Eucalyptus.
That's even worse, man. I mean, if you're going to give somebody lotion, give them something that.
Oh man, it's the winter time. It's getting cold. Chapped lips, chapped face, chapped all around.
Dom, I think we just move on here, bud.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got worst injury of the year. These are very unpredictable moments that we face in the NFL each year. Heartbreaking for fantasy owners. We care. David, all right. Wow, we got some laughs out of you.
DG.
Very nice. We laugh.
You and me both.
We laugh. We cry in this game every year. JB, what was the worst injury for the fans?
I'd have to probably say Justin Jefferson. He was drafted probably top 5 in just about every league. And thankfully, I guess he got his injury pretty early. What are you smiling about, Tom?
I agree with you. I agree.
He's writing his next 3 punchlines.
No, he's just enjoying the smell of the lotion.
Well, yeah, I'd have to say Justin Jefferson. Because there was actually somebody in my league who if Justin Jefferson would have stayed healthy, he definitely would have beat me inside of the playoffs. So yeah, definitely Justin Jefferson, I'd have to say, is probably the worst injury. The worst injury award will go to him for me. Alex?
Definitely Nick Chubb. Along with Cam Akers, Nick Chubb's season-ending injury was the dagger for my season in the league, in which Jack and I both participated. I
I did
Chubb.
better.
Yeah. Chubb, Chubb's top 5 running back usually in fantasy. Just losing him, it was the dagger. The dagger on my season, boys. I knew right then and there I had nothing to play for other than to beat Jack, and I did. Just so everyone remembers. All right, Jack.
Did you use lotion for that?
Plenty.
All right. I'll go. JB, his counterpart, Mr. Kirk Cousins, was my big injury this year. Had 2,331 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 25 rushing yards. He was averaging 22.5 fantasy points before he joined the torn Achilles club in Week 8 against Green Bay. Yeah, he was going to lead me to a championship, but also to the downfall of many other quarterbacks this year. The Achilles were just not tight this year.
Not tight at all, Jack, and not tight at all. Alex, Nick Chubb would have been a good contender for that biggest bust, I would say. But I'm gonna have to double down on JJ, Justin Jefferson, numero uno drafted. Big upset. I mean, that value, you're taking someone number 1, you're expecting them to get over 400 fantasy points, and he earned way less than that. So that is a devastating blow to any owner who had him rostered. Not much to say after that. I mean, Kirk Cousins, definitely that was a big one. But I'm going with JJ, Justin Jefferson. So for that, he is getting the black cat. Black cats are bad luck. So
Very
Justin
clever.
Jefferson, you got the black cat.
Very
Got
good,
that black
Dom.
cat. All right, only a few more awards left. Oh man, I'm gonna miss you guys these next few weeks.
Dom, I just hope you host the Golden Globes next year. Apparently that guy didn't do a very good job, but you got my vote for next year.
This next award. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Cool.
This next award. This one personally, I've been waiting for this one all night. We are going with Rookie of the Year award. Alex, who do you got?
I'm going to go with Mr. C.J. Stroud, gentlemen.
Oh,
I'm going with him. Houston definitely made the right pick between him and Bryce Young. Even though Stroud got hurt, he still threw over 4,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Let's be honest, Houston was pretty embarrassing the last couple of years, and now they're a playoff team. So big props to C.J. Stroud this year. JB.
Well, DG, got to shout out his comment that he just made. He said that the worst injury, Aaron Rodgers, according to Jets fans, definitely according to Antonina. Aaron Rodgers. But
I was devastated. David, what you don't know is they make fun of me, Jack and Alex, because if they wouldn't bully me, I would draft Aaron Rodgers first pick overall every year. Very upset over that.
So
now David, that is a good pick. I would say just my thoughts on that. Aaron Rodgers was probably getting drafted later in the draft this year, probably rounds like 8 through 10. So I think his injury actually impacted the people around him more than actually himself. Like I didn't expect him to get, 350 fantasy points, but that was definitely a noteworthy injury. I mean, within the first 10 minutes of the season. But hopefully he'll come back. Alex, that was a good pick. CJ Stroud. Who was up next? JB?
Yeah, I was talking. I think we're all gonna. I mean, I think that's probably who Dom had is CJ Stroud as his Rookie of the Year award. I think I would say the same, but I'll stray away and I'll say Puka. 14, almost 1,500 yards receiving, broke the rookie record. Can't do much better than that. Obviously, if you picked him up on your team, you're relatively happy, especially if it's a dynasty team. You're definitely happy because I imagine Puka is going to be pretty good for a while. and that was definitely a phenomenal year by him, as well as CJ Stroud. But I'll go ahead and I'll say Puka. Jack?
Tom, I noticed we didn't have a tight end of the year on these categories, so I'm going to throw in, I think, our only tight end of the entire award show, Mr. Sam Laporta from the Detroit Lions.
Let's
889 yards, 86 receptions, 10 touchdowns on 120 targets. I know he had a little injury, which is an interesting thing to talk about with Detroit playing for the 2 seed or whatever. I'm not sure if he's able to play this week or not, but he's my rookie of the year.
Guys, you named everyone I was thinking about. This is very tough. My heart is saying CJ Stroud, just because I was, just really sucking that dry all year, just hyping him up. But I feel like he kind of whimpered out towards the end for me. I know the stats are amazing on paper, right? But I think he finished around like QB 10 or so.
He did get injured. He did get hurt.
He did get injured, so that's a factor. He's a very intelligent guy. Very intelligent. Very young, good looking. Bright future ahead. I think he has, 15 years in this league. I'm going with Puka Nuka. Puka the Nuka. And you know why? He had 1,400 yards plus. No one expected him, No one expected that Hawaiian to do this, right? And he just exceeded everyone's expectations and finished top 5 wide receiver. So if you've been following all year long, you would probably expect me to say CJ Stroud. The injury kind of wavered me to Puka. So for Puka, he is getting the biggest award of the night.
Oh.
Rookie of the year.
That was that.
Chris, thoughts?
It looks like a dragon carrying an umbrella.
Correct.
What the hell is that?
It's the biggest award of the night.
I know that, but what is it?
It's the award for Puka.
No.
What significance does it have?
Describe it, please.
Well,
I can't.
We have a golden scaled dragon
A dragon.
holding a very, I don't know what carat this is. I'm not a jeweler, but we have a little diamond there. And yeah, it's an antique heirloom passed down through my family. And I think the best way to use this heirloom is to send this bad boy all the way across the country to my boy Puka.
So you're giving away your parents' stuff now?
Yeah, Tom, you got to move out of your parents' house, man.
Is
So
that what's
just
going
the
on?
heirloom, guys. Just the
Are you
heirloom.
that bored? Seriously.
This is an
Heirloom.
intervention for you to move out of your parents' house.
You know what, guys? I mean, you guys know him better than I do. Maybe you spend a little more time with him, but I got to tell you, the questions about Dom, they don't get answered. There's just more and more questions. Seriously. I mean, do you think it's worth any money?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you want, I could deliver it to.
Very good, very good. Now, I think that about wraps it up. We got one more award. This is probably the one everyone was waiting for. Best backup of the year / comeback player. We love a good comeback. Jack, start us off.
Well, I had, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't say CMC at all. But this is where I'm giving him the comeback because was he not hurt all last year? Yes, fact check, Alex.
I mean, when he got traded to San Fran, he was healthy. He may have been hurt earlier in the year with Carolina before he got traded.
That's what I thought. Well, anyways, I'm shouting out CMC since everybody else got a chance to. 1,459 yards, 14 TDs, leading the Niners to a playoff, maybe a Super Bowl. Thanks for having me.
All right, Alex. That's a solid pick, Jack. Solid pick.
Something about Titletown up in Green Bay. They're just lucking out so far with these quarterbacks. Going Favre to Rodgers, and now I think they may have found the next gem at quarterback in Jordan Love. He let's see, he had 4,100 yards passing, a little under 300 yards rushing. He had 36 total touchdowns this year, 32 passing, 4 rushing, only 11 picks. He started off a little slow. Although there was a lot of debate early in the year, in the fall, about benching him, and then all of a sudden something switched, and he was playing like a Pro Bowler, and now he has them in the playoffs. So who would have thunk? Jordan Love, comeback player of the year in my book. Dom.
I love it. I love Jordan Love. Spread the love, guys. Spread it. JB.
Well, to go from being the worst player consistently in the league, going around having to hold a sign about being the worst player, and then to coming out and winning this year in fantasy football, I got to give it to Antonino, our dude. Comeback player of the year.
Wow.
Let's go.
Jeez.
Right now.
This guy's
Give me
sucking
the
up to
trophy.
our
Give me the trophy.
right
Come on.
contracts.
That's right.
Yeah.
JB definitely gets renewed in his contract for next year. Plus the signing bonus.
That's incredible, guys. Wow. That's a great way to wrap it up, JB.
Mm-hmm. Dom?
Oh, man. This is going to a tiebreaker. I'd love to say Antonino. I didn't really follow his story year long, though, so maybe next year he could pop in more and tell us more about it. But
There's a Netflix special. It's coming out in March.
Oh, all right.
Actually, my Chris, my PR, my publicist, she's trying to get that kind of download hush hush. There's some lawsuits out, so we can download right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to go with. This was tough for me. I think this is probably the storyline heading into the playoffs. Keeping this team afloat, I'm gonna go with Joe Flacco. This dude is not doing amazing fantasy wise, but he's keeping those players on that roster afloat. Amari Cooper doing great with Joe Flacco. He already has more TDs than Kenny with playing like 4 games. And really everyone's fearing this guy. So maybe my pick is a little outlandish. Maybe it's out of the fantasy realm, more for the Cinderella story. But something about Joe Flacco, a Hall of Famer kind of getting one last shot. I'd be shocked, or I wouldn't be shocked to see the Browns versus Ravens upcoming in the playoffs. So for me, I'm going to go with Joe Flacco, and our beautiful producer Chris is going to have to break the tiebreaker.
I don't. Yeah, I was kind of
Oh, you're beautiful,
on
Chris.
the end.
Don't forget that.
What'd you say, bud? What'd you say? What'd you say? I missed that.
Who, me or
Jack
Jack?
is frozen. Jack is frozen.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Jack is frozen.
Jack's frozen. Oh, okay. Crap. What? Look at that. That's weird. Wow. We need a special award for Jack.
That's
Anyway, I was on the Antonino bandwagon. I thought that was a pretty slick pick there. Totally out of the blue. That's going to get some ratings, no doubt. But then Dom, you brought up Joe Flacco, and it's kind of like he wasn't really a fantasy pick. So I think I'm going to have to go with Antonino.
Let's go, Antonino.
Yeah. What is Antonino get? Is and since he is the only award recipient present at this gala, I guess he also gets to decide if he wants to trade too, right?
Yeah.
Take the
So
bag.
what's his award, Dom? What's his award? Roll of toilet paper? Maybe some toothpaste? Hopefully whitening toothpaste.
So I don't have a physical award for this one. It was more going to be
This show's rigged.
It
Yeah.
was going to be more of an action for this award.
That's actually pretty risque and disgusting, Tom.
Anthony,
I didn't even say it.
Seriously, where do you get these?
I'd like the
people?
trade. I'd like the trade.
I mean, come on. That's absolutely so what is it? Really, what is it?
I'll leave it up to the listeners to kind of.
No, we can't do that. We'll never see Antonino again.
Nah, I might never win another championship.
Does he get to pick an award? How about if we let him pick?
Yeah,
an
you
award?
can pick this one, Antonino.
Yeah, you pick one of the ones: the black cat, the lotion. You know,
Well,
pick one.
you know what they say? They say things that are priceless are worth more than money can describe. So I'll take the family heirloom. Give me the
Oh my God. You know what? You are definitely Italian. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Very good, everyone.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you guys exit out of here, but thanks for having me as a part of the show this year. I really love it. I look forward to the upcoming shows. And of course, before we go, we have to thank DG and who says, great show, guys. Have a great 2024. And I'll look for you next fantasy season and see you at the Sports Porch on Mondays at 7:30. Thanks, DG. You're the best.
DG.
Yep. And looking forward to the upcoming season. So you guys go on and take her on out.
Yeah, David, thank you for commenting all episode. It was great to hear from you. You are definitely our number one fan, so we're going to have to figure out sending you an award. So thank you for that. Alex, JB, Jack, it was great talking to you all year long. I can't believe this season's already coming to a close. We should be back around Super Bowl time. Very quickly, we don't have to go into analysis, but I just want to hear everyone's Super Bowl pick. Because we won't be talking until the week of the Super Bowl, so I think it would be fun to, hear everyone's Super Bowl pick now.
Bills over Niners.
Oh, okay. Jack?
Oh, jeez. Chiefs over Eagles.
Wow, Eagles. Okay, JB.
I think I have to go with
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers over Eagles, and if not, Eagles over Steelers.
Jalen Warren, Super Bowl MVP.
Hey, we'll come back here and we'll talk when it happens. Okay.
To round it out, I think I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs. I think they've been doing bad all year just to make it interesting in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Chiefs versus the Cowboys. Yeah. Jerry Jones finally makes it back to the homeland of the Super Bowl. We'll see if he could get lucky in Vegas, but we'll see. I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. DG. Yes. You know what it is.
All right, that wraps up our show. Please tune in about a month from now to hear about the Super Bowl. As always, thank you for listening. We're excited to see what this year holds. And I'll be analyzing these picks, who I'm going to pick next year, probably all off season. Alex, JB, Jack, have anything else to say?
I'm ready for bed.
Yep.
I'm ready for bed. Yeah. Sounds
Appreciate
about right.
Everybody listened in. Thank you.
Chris, cue that music that we paid for.